What's up, Health Wealth Agency? Jason Woodard here. I wanted to take a second to give you kind of a preview of what we're going to be doing over the next couple months. I have been overwhelmed with the opportunity to start giving away fitness information for free, and I want to start doing that. And I think one of the ways we're going to kick that off is with going over macros and diets, which you guys can't see that great up there, I know that, but it's just more for me to be able to stay on point with you guys. But how do you guys go do your macros, figure out your diet without having to spend $200 to $400 online? I'm going to give you that formula here today for absolutely free. Also, I've been getting a lot of calls from people saying, you know, Jason, I'm getting out of the military. One of my CrossFit students from back in the day messaged me, said since he left the gym and he moved up north, he's getting ready to get out of the military. He's looking to make a transition. There's been a lot of success for people in the military due to their discipline and their people skills to work in insurance. A lot of people are looking at the industry for a lot of reasons. Now, what I am going to go over is not how you can get Ferraris, not how you can take these big trips, not all the garbage that they keep putting out online about, you know, do this, you're going to become a billionaire. That's not what this is about. If you're looking more to truly support your family and you were looking at insurance as an option, then I want to just give you a rundown. And a few times a week, I'm going to be posting some videos of not only how to get into the industry, what to look out for, what I experienced. And believe me, guys, I went through hell and back in this industry between what I call elementary school, high school, and then college, and then becoming a pro, okay? So we'll talk about that as well. So what we're going to be talking about on the insurance side is how I got started, the 3 different versions of insurance you can go on. I like to call it the MLM version, right? There's an MLM for everything, right? There's also independently mixed with an MLM. So you're an independent agent, truly self-sufficient, but you mix with an MLM or an IMO structure. And there's also a truly independent where you just kind of go on your own and do your own thing, and I'll talk about that. And there's pros and cons to all. But what I want to do is just kind of share my personal experiences, okay? Number one, how hard is it to make $100K in the insurance industry business? It's really a lot easier than you think. Number two, you know, what is a $1 million point base shop, and how hard is it to get? I wrote lucky number 5 because I see a lot of people out here in the MLM structure trying to recruit 50, 60, 100 people a month into their business. But you only need 5 good agents that are real agents that work hard every week on a duplicatable system to build a $1 million point base shop. You don't need 50 to 100, okay? What being an agent is really like, you know, what's required of you. And to do that, I'm just going to simply be transparent about what I do every day. I'm going to show you my personal numbers. So for example, I told you need 5 people to make a $1 million point base shop. Last month, just myself and another agent of mine, we did 40,000. So that would tell you, you know, you multiply that by a year, that's almost a $500,000 point base shop just with 2 people. So you can see how easy this can happen, okay? So today, let's stay focused on macros. So get a pen, get a paper. There's a few things you're going to want to know about and want to follow along. So first off, you have to know what your goal is when you're trying to figure out macros and nutrition, okay? Now, with your macros, your nutrition is basically going to be based on a certain multiplier. I've been doing this for years, okay? I've studied nutrition in college. I studied it in every book magazine you could possibly read. Like everyone will tell you, oh, I read so many books. I did that shit too, okay? I can also tell you that this is what I've been doing with clients over the years and what's actually worked, okay? What I want to try to get away from is these fad diets, all these arguments that we have within ourselves about carbs versus no carbs, okay? Because ideally health and manageable health and mental health is going to come down to whatever you're doing being livable. And so not that I'm against intermittent fasting, not that I'm against low carb dieting, not that I'm against even the cabbage soup diet. Well, I'm against that one. But what I am against it is that most people, when they go on any of these diets, they run into, even like the keto diet, they run into a point where it's not livable. They have issues, they don't feel good, or they just don't feel normal, or it's just too tedious. Why not have something that's just livable and more manageable? And it's been around for 30 years. People have been getting ripped doing this, but for some reason, following a macro profile is too hard because people are saying, hey, give me $400 to do it, okay? So what that multiplier is going to be to help you with your goal, okay? Now, if your goal is to lose a lot of weight, say you are morbidly obese, you might use a 10 multiplier. You're just trying to drop a few pounds, 12. Say you're a big muscle guy, bodybuilder, and you're trying to maintain while still leaning out, maybe 15. And say if you're trying to bulk up for off season, maybe put 20 pounds, right? Or if you're highly active, 20 is a multiplier, okay? And the only thing you're gonna do is multiply that multiplier by your current body weight. And that's going to give you a basic idea of how many calories or kilocalories you should take in, okay? With that multiplier, we're gonna be able to break it down and use that number to find everything else you wanted to find, okay? So let's go over the key points, and I'm going to erase this stuff and use this to help you build a nutrition plan, okay? Number one, lifestyle factors. Before you start getting in your macros, you have to understand which way to go. The really main thing you're looking at is your carbohydrate intake to determine how much of your macros should be from that source of energy. Now, if you are highly active, then it makes sense that you allot yourself a little bit more. I mean, imagine being a marathon runner and just going on the keto diet because somebody told you, hey, you'll lose weight because you feel fat. And then you halfway through your marathon, you crack out, right? That's no good, right? So we need to make sure that your lifestyle matches up with your percentages, okay? Now, I will give you a hint. Fat, I always keep at 20 to 30% no matter what. Usually closer to 30%. So that leaves me with 70 to 80% of those kilocalories that we got from our multiplier to divide based on our activity. So let's go ahead and do one together. Now, a lot of people, when they're making these macro charts, they're making it real complicated for people because they're telling them, oh, on this day, this day, this day, this day, do this, eat this, this, if you do this before this. Let me make it real clear and simple, okay? If you do most of your exercising and hard work in the day, then it's okay to push most of your carbohydrate macros towards that time before and after those times. If you aren't very active during that time, it's okay to lower them in the morning and save it until later when you will be, okay? You don't need a 5-page chart that's really confusing to understand that eat your carbohydrates around the time you're gonna be using them, okay? So, let's talk macros. I'm gonna use someone I know personally who asked me to do this for them as an example, okay? Now, they weigh 125 pounds, okay? Now, their goal is to get leaner, but they don't necessarily, me knowing them, need to lose as much weight as fast as they think they need to. So I'm only going to use a multiplier of 12, right? And I'm going to call out the numbers that I get to you guys just so you can follow along. You can write it down and figure it out on your own. So I'm only going to use a multiplier of 12, okay? Now, if I take 125 by 12, so it's saying about 1,400 calories, or roughly 1,400 calories, okay? Now, roughly 1,400 calories, let's start looking at this, okay? 1,400 calories. Now, if I start looking, I take 30% off the top, right? 10% 140, so 1, 2, 3, 420. So I take 420 calories off the top. That's my fat, okay? Now, if I take 400 calories off the top, I'm left with 980 calories, okay? Now, this person, for example, at 980 calories, their activity level is moderate, okay? Moderate. So what we mean by moderate, it means they're active, okay? They are busy, they go to work, they're active for an hour or two a day, fitness level, and they do a lot of walking and they do have dogs. So I want their protein and carbohydrates to be more balanced, right? A little bit more balanced so that their energy levels don't go like this, like they can on a low carb diet, and they're not starving. So if I know 980, right, then I'm going to put 490 calories to protein, 490 calories to carbs, okay? And that's going to give me approximately 30% fat, 40% protein, 40% carbs, okay? Now, the other trick to knowing how to do this easily is knowing how do I convert this percentage into usable grams of energy or usable units of energy I can use every day, right? So your divisible number, if you look on the side of a bread box or a cereal box or anything else like that, is going to have a little number, and it's going to say how many calories per gram are in this thing, right? So if I have 490 calories, and I know there's 4 calories per gram in carbohydrates, then I'm just going to divide that by 4 to get my grams a day. Now, protein just so happens to be 4, okay? Fat is 9, alcohol is 7, okay? So just so you know, okay? Now, when I'm doing that, if I take that 900 or that 420 and divide that by 9, I'm going to get my fat grams. If I take that 490 and divide it by 4, I'm going to get my protein grams. And if I take that 490 divided by 4, I'm also going to get what? My carbohydrate grams. So at the end of the day, what I have here is protein, carbs, fat. Okay? So if I take 420, I'm dividing it by 9, you're getting roughly 35 to 40 grams of fat a day. Now you can tell by looking at those numbers, this is for a female, okay? Now, if you're looking at the carbs, 490, almost 500, right? And we're dividing close to 500 by 4, we're gonna get what, 150, what is 600? So about 125 grams of carbs, okay? And the same would be about 125 grams of protein, okay? Now, once you know that you have your numbers, so in this instance, 35 to 40 grams of fat, 125 grams of carbs, 125 grams of protein. Does this mean it's going to be perfect? No. Here's what we got to do. We got to get our client on the habit of knowing how to do this for themselves anytime they need to reset. We got to get our clients on the habit of doing this and monitoring it and knowing what that looks like. So my advice for my client here, after I've given him this information, will be to understand that 35 to 40 grams of fat is going to occur pretty naturally in the foods you eat, especially if you use a little bit of olive oil or you have a little bit of almond butter or some nuts or anything, right? So that's going to be pretty easy. What I really want them to focus on is this and not adding too much additional fats. And we'll give some coaching on that as far as how much additional fat or what additional fats. But when we get down to the carbs and the protein, we really want them to understand that if you have 125 grams, right, you can spread that out throughout the day. Now, how you do it is up to you. You can do it evenly. I could say I want to eat 5 times a day and spread 125 out over 5 times, right? Breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, right? Maybe that's what you want to do. I recommend that for a lot of beginners. It's very simple, very easy to follow. The protein's going to be the same way, and then you're going to want to make sure that you know how to measure it. So just to give you an idea, if you look it up, my favorite thing is the palm and fist method. I've been preaching it for years. All my clients kill it with this method. Is they just go, hey, I know that the palm of my hand or the size of a deck of cards, right, is going to be roughly my 3 ounces of meat to 4 ounces of meat, and you get me that 20 to 25, 30 grams of protein I'm looking for. I also know that when I eat my carbs, that a clenched fist is about 50 grams, or a half a clenched fist is going to be about 25 grams. So depending on how much I'm trying to get per meal, when you do your math and divide by 5, you can literally eyeball your food at a restaurant. You can go through a drive-through because you're running late to work and realize that they still make grilled chicken breasts. You can get to lettuce, tomato, ketchup, and say a half a bun, right? 25 grams right there, boom. You'll learn how to stay on point, have a bottle of water with every meal, and before you know it, the fat's just going to be melting off. You don't need to spend $400. You need a calculator, guys, and then you need to stay disciplined to doing it. I don't stay disciplined all the time. I'm 40 years old. I don't want to be that disciplined. I had a time when I wanted to be 6%, 5%, 4% year-round. Through my 20s, I did it. That shit was fun. It was great. I felt like human, like Superman, right? But at the end of the day, now I want to be healthy. But whenever my spare tire gets out of whack, I always know how to get it back. And that's the power of knowledge, is you can know how to get it back. You can enjoy pizza with your son, go to his basketball game, have a drink with your wife, and still get ready for vacation when the time is ready or necessary, right? Okay? So I hope you guys understand that the whole purpose of this message is what we're doing at Health Wealth Agency and how we're going to be helping in the future. So I hope you enjoy that information on nutrition and how you can create your own macro profile, right? Understanding you want to work out harder, not starve. I see a lot of people doing these ketos and intermittent fastings, but what they're doing is they're working out less. So, hey, I'll just eat less and starve so I don't have to work out that hard, right? And then I also see people really struggling financially to understand, what they should be doing. I see a lot of people rolling over money at age 65 and saying, hey, I'm going to go put it back into the market. And I go, you're 65. Can you afford that risk? That's up to them. Maybe they really needed to grow that bad, right? Or could there be some risk-free investments that they could be making? And there's a lot of really great people like myself, like yourself, that want to help people make those decisions, that want to make a great six-figure income by helping people learn how to make those decisions. And at the end of the day, I want to give advice to my friends who have asked, and I felt like this is the greatest way to do it. And I also want to share some of my successes, but more importantly, be transparent. I want to be transparent about how many people I have to call. I want to be transparent about how often I have to ask for help on things, whether it be tracking, getting somebody to update stuff for me when it's time for me to hire somebody because I need extra help. I'm going through that right now. There's a lot of things to look at in the industry that I don't want to see people do what I did initially, and I think that's why I'm motivated to do this. I spent a lot of years trying to figure it out, okay? And I now believe firmly that if anyone follows my page, if you like, comment, share, right? I'm going to do my best I can every morning and every evening, at least a few nights a week. And I'm going to give you guys a much shorter video with great fitness tips, but also tell you what's going on over here in the insurance, whether you're looking at it as a product question. You guys can give me questions. Hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, or on YouTube. Hit me up with questions, whatever you need, but I'll answer them all. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you'll join me on my journey through building multiple shops that are in discussion that we're talking about doing, but also on living your best life through fitness without suffering. And I think that's the biggest point for me is hitting 40. The last few years of my life really changed my life, and I looked at things a lot differently. And I'm not in the best shape of my life, but I'm definitely not in the worst shape of my life, right? And through learning what I've learned, I just want to share that information with you guys. It's what I love. It's what I'm passionate about. I really don't care about making money off this. I just want to teach. So if you have questions or you'd like me to do a video, by all means, send it in. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye-bye.